Hello and welcome to the Soul Ascension Podcast with me, Ciara Ashwell. This is a space for awakening, remembering and rising into the truth of who you truly are. Here we explore all things ascension, soul purpose, starseed wisdom, healing and the deeper layers of this human experience through both solo transmissions and powerful conversations with guests who are here to guide, activate and inspire. If you've ever felt like there's more, like you're here for something greater, you're in the right place. Hello and welcome to the Soul Ascension Podcast with me, your host, Ciara Ashwell. And today I have the beautiful Ciara Crowch here today for the chats. Ciara is a spiritual mentor, a channel and an intuitive energy healer. And she also happens to be a really good friend of mine. So I am so happy to have you here, Ciara. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here today.
Oh, amazing. And you know what? I just wanted to bring you on today, Ciara, to have a chat about our story because we met a few years ago and things have evolved so much in that time since we met and so much has happened. And I really just wanted to bring that story out today because I know a lot of people know the both of us and they're always asking how we met and stuff like that. But before we get into that and our little story of how we met and what has transpired since, just for those who maybe don't know you, can you just tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I am an angelic healer, an intuitive guide, a soul mentor, and everything I do is to bring you back to that light that is within you and connect you with your soul and your truth and your essence. So I do a lot of energy clearing, soul activations, and I work a lot with the angels as well to support and bring through the frequencies. So I absolutely love every part of it.
And you just glow when you talk about it, Ciara. I love it. So we met a few years ago. And I'll talk about that now in a while of how we met and what has happened since. But just up to that point of us meeting, because I know when I first met you, you were pregnant with your little boy. And can you just tell the listeners just your story of how you came onto your spiritual journey and kind of your journey up until the point that we met?
Yeah, so it really started for me when I left college and I went out into the real world and I got a job, and I was very competitive, very driven, always pushed myself to the max to achieve and succeed. And I did what society told me to do. I got the 1-1 in college, got the top graduate program, and I was so unhappy. I was unfulfilled. I was like, there must be more. So that cycle continued for a good 7 years where I would get a job, I would go into it, and my body would start telling me something was out of alignment. I would get sick. I had IBS, ovarian cysts, panic attacks, anxiety. My body was screaming every single time I would get unfulfilled and unhappy in a job. This cycle would continue. And for years, I suppressed it. I ignored it. I ran away. I got another job or I moved country. And eventually I was like, oh, maybe I need to work for myself. So I set up my own business. It was an online retail company. It was really, really successful. And over 2 years, I built it up. I sold it on and I achieved everything that I had on my to-do list. And I thought in my mind that when I sold that company, the joy, the happiness, the fulfillment that I was seeking would be there for me. But it was actually the opposite. When I sold that, my world crumbled apart and I was more anxious than ever. My body was screaming and I was so unhappy because I realized what I was looking for wasn't outside of me. And that is when my journey of looking within started. And I started my healing journey. I started with Reiki and it really opened up everything for me. And as an empath, I stored so much fear, so much worry, so much anxiety, so much of other people's energies for so many years. And that all came up to be released. And when that was released, my own soul, my intuition, what I wanted, what my heart wanted, started guiding me, started communicating with me. And yeah, it's like everything opened up from there in small little steps. I started to see what I wanted and I started to realize who I was. And that was the hardest part of the death of who I thought I was. You know, I lost so many friends, relationships, different areas of my life. It felt like it was falling apart, but it was really coming together. And yeah, when I really started connecting with my heart, then I realized that I was a spiritual angel girl and this was the true me. And as I continued on that journey, my gifts started opening up and I started going into energy healing. I started offering it, and yeah, everything really unfolded from there.
Amazing. And isn't it funny, like you do have to go through that process, don't you? Well, most people that I speak to who, you know, have been on their spiritual journey, like something will happen. They'll, you know, go through a really tough time, or, you know, something traumatic will happen, or they be just at their lowest point. And then that's when kind of the journey really begins, isn't it? So up to that point, I've said this before, Ciara, I've always been angel mad, like since I was a little girl. Always been angel mad, but I never remember, like I never seen spirit when I was young, or you know, anything like that. Like my gifts opened up a lot later. I was like a wild child, partying all the time through my teenage years and well into my 20s. So I never really remember, like I was never one of those kids that, like, you know, seeing spirits when I was young and stuff. Was that the same for you, or can you remember ever having experiences when you were a kid?
Yeah, so I remember as a young child being very fearful. Like I'd always have to close the wardrobes in the nighttime, make sure the curtains were closed, make sure there was light coming into the room. And it's only when I look back that I remember that I used to see a lot of like light, a lot of like spirits. Like now they were my ancestors. And I lived in a really, really old house that had been passed down for generations. So I was connecting in as a child, and I was so afraid because I didn't know what it was. It was positive what was coming through. It was my angels, it was my ancestors. I was obviously seeing all of that, but as a child, I was scared and I shut it off. And I shut it off for many, many years until I started the journey. But when I look back, there's certain things in my life that I was realized now that I was always connected. I just didn't realize it. And it really came to me, those moments came when I was at my lowest. So when I was really, really upset in my life, I remember one day going for a walk, and it was very early on my journey. It was when I was only the first kind of job that I was unfulfilled in, and I was upset, questioning what path I should go on. And I just got this feeling of unconditional love over me. I was crying one day, and this feeling out of nowhere, this unconditional love and this whole feeling through my body saying it's going to be okay. But then obviously I got back out of that moment and got back into the hustle and bustle. And it took me another few years to realize it. But throughout that time when I was on that journey, different things came in at different times. For example, I was over in New Zealand and we had a family emergency and I had to come home. And that's when the angel numbers started and the feathers and the signs. So my angels were always there. They were always communicating with me, but that came stronger when I suppose I really needed the help and I was going through difficult times. But now it's only looking back that I can see that it was always there. I just had to open my heart more to it.
And I do think that happens a lot for children, because children are so open, aren't they? And I believe every child will see angels and see spirits and stuff, but there can be that little bit of fear because their little minds don't understand what's going on, and then they kind of tend to shut it off, and usually then it opens back up in your like 20s or your teens or whatever. So we see that a lot, so that's really interesting. So just up to the point that you just literally booked a session with me a few years ago. I remember it really well. And where were you? Because I know you were pregnant at the time. So just remind me, where were you at that point? Were you still working the job, or you were already working in the healing? You were already doing your Reiki healing and stuff at that point, weren't you?
Yeah, so at that point, I feel like that was maybe 20, three, maybe I would say. Because I was pregnant, so it might be just a little bit after that. But so I was after selling my business, and I then went trained in Reiki. And when I met you, I had a part-time corporate job and a part-time Reiki business. So I was dipping my toe into it. And then I was pregnant at the time, so when I went on maternity leave, I took a whole year out, and that's when I went full time into all of this then.
Yeah, because I remember now, actually, you were still working in the corporate world as well. You'd like one foot in and one foot out. And I remember a session so well, Ciara, and I know yourself included, and any energy worker who's listening and will probably agree, you never really remember your sessions because, like, I could never remember details of what happens in a session because you're just so in it. But I remember a session so clearly, because always before sessions, obviously, you would tune in for, a few minutes beforehand and kind of tune into the energy of the person you're going to be working with. And I was like, oh, this feels a bit different. And I'd never met you before. And I remember when you came on the screen, there was just like this feeling of, oh my God, I know this person. And we went through the session, and I remember at one point, I just got this strong urge to pick up my 2 Lemurian crystals. And I picked them up, and as soon as I picked them up, I got this image of the 2 of us in Lemuria. And I was like, oh my God, this is really strange, because it was such a clear, and I'm usually not very visual, but it was such a clear vision of the 2 of us in Lemuria. And I went on with the session then, and I remember picking up the energy of your little boy, because you were quite just very early pregnant at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I know this baby. I know this baby. Like, this energy is so familiar to me. And I remember at the end of the session then saying to you, do you have any connection with Lemuria? Like, and you were like, oh my God, it's coming in so much for me lately, and yada, yada, yada. And I know sometimes you to be, especially when you don't know the person, you don't, like, sometimes you kind of hold back saying things. So I was like, I have to say it. I was like, I feel we had a lifetime together in Lemuria. And it kind of just went from there, didn't it? And then it just, we just really, really connected. But I just remembered that sense of, oh my God, I know this person.
Yeah. And for me as well, it was just, I was seeing your posts and everything online, and I just felt such a pull towards you and booking in a session. And then when I booked in that session, it was actually like for the last 2 to 3 weeks previously, I've never have heard of Lemuria before then. And it was only within those 2 or 3 weeks that I started getting like the word Lemuria into my mind. And I kept on pulling this Lemurian card, and I started researching about it, and it was coming into my awareness. And now I know that my son Connor has a big connection, and I feel like he was meant to bring us together as well. And so that's when it really all came together, and that session was incredible. I remember so vividly throughout it. So you just started with a meditation, and then started the healing. I was in silence, I was receiving the healing, but I was seeing visions of me in Lemuria and all of this without it being mentioned. And it was just so amazing at the end that I was after having that full experience, and you brought up the whole Lemurian connection, and I instantly knew that what you were saying, that we had this past life connection, every part of me. I remember I shivered, but I felt so connected, and I knew I was drawn to you for a reason. So it was just so lovely, and we just instantly knew, and it all unfolded from then, really, didn't it?
It really did. I remember a few weeks later you reached out to me, and I think you were a little bit nervous because you were like, I don't normally do this, but I really just get the urge that I need to do a session for you. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to. And then you done a session for me, and it just blew me away. So much came through for the both of us about different connections that we had, and it just all started to unfold. Like, it's literally like we're the same person that have had very similar, like, galactic experiences. We know that we've worked in multiple lifetimes together. doing different missions and stuff, which is just crazy when you think about it. But I just remember we just started working together regularly then, didn't we? Like every other week we'd do a session for each other, and just more and more unfolded. And I know I had started my journey with the Galactics a few years prior to that, probably 3 years prior. So the Galactics wasn't a new thing to me, but I know it was kind of started off for you when we kind of met, didn't it, with the Galactics, and they came in so strongly for you then, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. And I remember like reaching out to you. I remember being in my kitchen one day and just getting this message out of nowhere saying to reach out and offer you a session. And at the that time I was doing like my bespoke energy healing sessions, I used to call them, where I'd intuitively bring through light language for clearing activations and do intuitive healing as well. And I wasn't doing them, they were new to me as well. I wasn't doing them that long. So I was feeling like so imposter syndrome, like, who am I to reach out and ask you for a session? And I was so nervous because I wouldn't normally do that, but it was coming through so strongly. And I think that goes to show, when you trust and when you listen to that guidance and your intuition and feel that fear and just trust your heart, that these things unfold. And, you know, I've met a soul sister, a really good friend, and we've reconnected from that. But if I was too afraid to not listen to that, I'm sure it would have took a little bit longer, and a few more nudges, but it's really about trust in that. And yeah, I remember that first session, and like I was receiving as much as you were, and it was just a whole soul remembrance. But I was totally new to the Galactics. But it was new, but when I heard about them, my soul remembered. So it wasn't completely foreign. It's the same with light language and everything. When it started coming into my awareness, it was just this soul remembrance. And yeah, you were definitely a big part of my journey in introducing me to all our galactic pals and really strengthening that. So yeah, it was just so lovely the way it all came together and how it really evolved then.
Yeah, it was just, it just evolved so naturally as well, didn't it? And I remember, well, Coach, when I first met you, my light language, I had there was a little bit, but that's really come on since we've started working together. And it's like every session would just unfold another piece of the puzzle between the two of us, wouldn't it? And then I never forget meeting you in person the first time. And I was like, oh my God, we have exactly the same eyes. Our eyes are literally identical. It was so strange. And then very soon on in, I think, of working together, the Arcturians came through for both of us, which was new to both of us. I hadn't had any experience with them before. And they came in really strongly for both of us, didn't they? And that's kind of what, that led the journey then of the work that we're doing together now, this grid work. And I just want to talk a little bit about that, because I know that was such a big thing for both of us because we were both so new to it. And I'll just tell the story from how it happened on my end, and then you can chat about yours. But I remember I woke up, I was teaching a Reiki course, and I woke up and I said to my husband, I have to go to Glastonbury with Ciara. And he's like, what? Oh no, Stonehenge, it was Stonehenge. I have to go to Stonehenge with Ciara. And he's like, what? And I was like, where's Stonehenge? And he's like, I have no idea. And I had heard of Stonehenge, obviously, but I'd never been. I didn't know too much about it. And I remember driving up to teach the Reiki course and leaving you a voice note saying, Ciara, we have to go to Stonehenge together. I had this really vivid dream last night, and I was told I have to go with Ciara to Stonehenge to do some grid work. And you were like, oh my God, I got the same download, only it was Glastonbury. And we were like, oh my God, where's Glastonbury? And it was so new to us. And as it transpired, when you were looking into it while I was teaching the Reiki course, and you were like, oh my God, Stonehenge and Glastonbury are so close. They're on the same ley line, the St. Michael's ley line. And that's how that kind of just transpired, didn't it? And that's when the Arcturians started coming in and doing all the activations for us and really preparing us for this trip that we were going to do. And you just remind me, when you got the message about Glastonbury, it was the same, wasn't it? It came through in like in a dream.
Yeah, and it was the day before you voiced it with me, but I didn't say anything because I was a bit nervous to be like, oh, do you want to come to Glastonbury with me? But yeah, it was in a dream, and it was the two of us were in Glastonbury, and I had heard of Glastonbury and I knew it was spiritually connected, but that was all. I didn't know too much about it or anything at that stage. And when you said it, I was like, oh my goodness, we have to go, because I got that so strongly yesterday that we had to go to Glastonbury. And it was after coming in, and I kept on feeling that in my body that day. And when you voice noted me, then it was like everything came together. And then when we looked it up, we realized that it was all connected. And it was after that then that all of the information, the memories, the clarity, everything started flowing through. Why we were going there, what we were going to do. And, you know, it became clearer and clearer. And then the Octorians were working with us for a long time to prepare our energy field, to give us upgrades, activations. And we did a lot of work preparing. You remember all those sessions where like, I would have one part, you would have the other, and like we would really work together. And yeah, I realized from that as well how connected we were and how much we were involved with each other's mission, and that we were to do this work together, and that we were a part of each other's journeys, such a big role in each other's journeys as well, and collectively. So yeah, it was just amazing.
The way it transpired. And I remember we were picking a date, and we both sat down with the diary. And I remember you were getting married in the June or the July. And at this time, I think this was the February of last year. And we were looking at the diaries, and we just couldn't make the dates work because we thought we were going to go pretty soon. And then I remember you were getting married in the summer, and we were like, okay, well, let's leave it till after the summer. And then we looked at August, and the only date that either of us were free was the 9th of August, that Saturday. And then we had said, well, why don't we go on the Friday then? We'll fly the day before, and we do the Friday to the Sunday. And then we realized, oh my God, that's like the Lionsgate portal, the 8/8. So we actually went on the Lionsgate portal, and we were like, oh my God, this is obviously so significant, because it was literally the only weekend we could both make work, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the way it just came together, we didn't even realize that we were booking the Lionsgate portal at the time. Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this is going to be huge. And then I remember the next few months we continued working together and doing sessions for each other. But then that's when the activations started for me. I'd never had one of these. I had an activation years prior, but nothing like the ones with the Arcturians. And I remember I was getting them almost sometimes once or twice a month even, but every month right up until we went to the trip in the August. But they were like, and it was funny, I'd have an activation, and then the night after you'd have one, and the night after I would. It's like they were working with us both together. And the activations for me would always happen at nighttime. And I'd always know they were going to happen because I just wouldn't be able to sleep. But it wouldn't be the case of like my mind is racing and I'm thinking, like my mind actually was really, really calm, but I just physically couldn't go to sleep. And I'd be like, right, one is going to happen tonight. And then around 2 or 3 in the morning, it would start. And it would start where I would kind of start to go into, it's very hard to describe, but like my hearing would start to go a bit funny, and I'd start to hear like beings talking to me, and like, or I'd feel them like around me. And then it's like I went on this, they would bring me on like what I would say is like a plant medicine journey. So it's like this portal would open up. I know this sounds really weird. This portal would open up, like this Mandela portal, and I would like go through the portal, and then it was they would just be working on me. And the very first time it happened to me, I got such a fright because I didn't know what was happening. My body would start to pulsate and vibrate at such a speed. I would think I thought I'd be levitating off the bed. I'm like, how's my husband lying beside me here snoring his head off when I'm literally like levitating off the bed, because it was so intense, the vibration. And then I'd go into like the portal and stuff. And the first time it happened, I got such a fright because I didn't know what was happening, and I kind of pulled myself out of it. But I just kept hearing, it's okay, it's an activation, you're safe. And then I was like, okay, let's go back into it. And like nothing would happen. And then nothing happened for ages afterwards. I was like, no, I'm after ruining it. Until a few weeks later, it happened again. And then they were happening really regularly right up until the August time. And I remember saying to you, Ciara, what are we going to do here? Like, because we knew what grid work was, but we didn't really know how to do it. We'd never trained in it. It's not, something that we had ever done here in this lifetime. I know we've done it in past lifetimes, but I remember I had a session booked with a mentor of mine that I still work with. And I hadn't seen her in months. Like, I would maybe work with her once or twice a year, and I hadn't seen her in months. And I remember having the session. I think it was the week before we were going to Glastonbury and Stonehenge. And I remember coming on the call, and she's like, "Oh my God, what have they been doing with you? Like, your energy has been like completely upgraded." And I told her about the activations and about the trip to Glastonbury and stuff, and she's like, "Okay, that's why we're having this session today." And she literally taught me the process of how to clear the grids in that session.
Yeah.
And we were going like the week later, so I was like, "Oh my God, I was meant to have that session with her." And she literally taught me the process that we went through to clear the grid lines. And we done that remotely, didn't we, in Stonehenge? And when you think of it, I remember us traveling, going like, what is going on? We literally just got the call to come here, and now we're literally on a flight. We went and rented a car. You remember the car was like, it was a gold car, and I think the reg was like 111 or 222 or something, wasn't it? It was crazy.
Super. Yeah. Incredible.
It was like, but anyway, we got there. We knew we needed to be there, didn't we? And then we cleared the Stonehenge, the grid line while we were in Stonehenge, but remotely we were in the accommodation, weren't we? And then we physically drove out to Stonehenge, and I'll never forget that, Ciara. We will maybe like put our hands on the ground, and maybe because we knew we both have like Lemurian codes and stuff, and then we were like, we'd put our hands on the ground. So yeah, we got there and we were like, okay, we just sit on the ground and just like put our hands and feet there. And can you remember what happened next, Ciara? It was wild.
Yeah, it was incredible. So this is when all of the orbs of light started coming around, and I would point somewhere, and usually I see in my third eye. Sometimes I get like flashes, but I had my eyes physically open. I was looking around. Next thing I would see a golden ball of light, an orange ball of light, a blue ball of light. And I was like a child pointing to Ciara, being like, "Do you see that? Look at that, look at that, look at that." And you were the exact same. And it was the most, I've never seen something so vividly with my eyes, and the energy of unconditional love. And there's clarity and that confirmation to the work that we have done, and that answering that calling and just following our heart was sending this positive energy out to the world. And it was really that confirmation. But it was such an adrenaline rush to see these orbs of light everywhere with the physical eye. And
it was wild.
Yeah, incredible.
And like, we could both see them, like the same one at the same time. Like, you'd be like, "Oh my God, Ciara," it was like a yellow ball and a blue ball, but we could both see them. And I was like, "Ciara, people are going to think we're on drugs here," because we're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And if you remember, part of the clearing that we had done back at the accommodation, a part of it, you then had brought in this like golden pillar of light to bring, after we had cleared, you brought in like a golden pillar of light to put into the land. And when we were there, we just both seen this golden pillar come literally from the sky down into the ground. And we were actually got a bit emotional then at that point, didn't we, Ciara? Because it was like, it was so powerful. And to get that clarity, where, as you say, to see with our physical eye on front of you, no denying it, both seeing it, it was just surreal, wasn't it? Like, we were really emotional.
Yeah, and it's just that trust in yourself, and trust in the intuition, and trust in the guidance, and knowing that the universe and your guides and your higher self is guiding you towards something bigger than you, and your light is needed, but you need to trust it and follow it. And for us, that was really like, what we have just done is putting so much positive energy out to the world. Like, the grid had been cleared and activated, and we could see the vibration lifting, like, so powerful.
And it was just amazing, wasn't it? Because it was so new to both of us. We'd never done anything like that before. And I remember the two of us were just on a high, and this was the Lionsgate portal. It was the 8th of the 8th. And I remember we went back to the accommodation then, and I was like, we need to do like a Lionsgate portal meditation. And we both just done the meditation. And I remember then we both got the message that we were to bring a group back there. Can you remember that?
Yeah.
You were like, when you came out of it, you were like, oh my God, I got this message for you to bring a group back. And I was like, oh my God, so did I. We're like, what? And it was just, and it just all unfolded then beautifully while we were there. Like we even went to see a venue when we were there, didn't we? It's just like the venue that we're now bringing the group back. We're going in July. And we have a beautiful soul signed up to come. And we had viewed the venue while we were there, didn't we? And we went to, the venue was in Glastonbury, because we went to Glastonbury after Stonehenge. And it was just the way it just all fell into place was just magical.
Yeah, it was like the guides are coming in now being like, they had this plan for us all along. We just had to walk that path and allow it to unfold. And remember that night, so we went to Glastonbury then the day after, we went to the sites there. Like that was so powerful. There was a lot of activations there, a lot of really, really beautiful, powerful quotes coming in for us that we received as well. And then that evening we went to a cacao ceremony, and that was that confirmation as well, wasn't it?
Oh my God, I'll never forget that. It was in a little art studio in Glastonbury. And the lady who owned the studio, she had like her art little bits up on the walls and little postcards and stuff. And I remember the two of us sitting together, and the lady directly across from me was like staring at me the whole time. Like anytime I'd look, she was looking at me, and I was like, oh. But we didn't really share even much. Like we hadn't talked. I think we shared our names and stuff up to that point. And then I remember at the end of it, she came over to me and she's like, I just really have to give you this. And she handed me, I think I probably have it. I have it.
I have it here. I'm going to get it now.
Do you have it there? She handed me this postcard and she's like, I just have to give this to you. There it is. It was like this, literally a lady in Stonehenge with all little balls of light around her and a golden pillar coming down, exactly what we saw in Stonehenge. And it's actually called the Lemurian Pillar of Light is the name of the art piece. Yeah. So when I looked at this, I was like, oh my goodness. And I just showed you, and we were literally gobsmacked, weren't we, Ciara?
Yeah, it was just confirmation that all that was coming through was for the greater good, and it was all coming through for a reason. And yeah, it was so powerful. And it was at that. Now, if anyone knows me, they know I'm a yapper, and I remember asking the girl next to me, would you recommend any we're nearby to bring a retreat? Because that message from bringing a group over was coming through so strongly, and she recommended this lovely place, and we went to see it the next day, and we just instantly knew that was it, and everything pieced together so seamlessly. And and I think that opened up so much. Our energy field really, really activated to the next level after that. Like so many gifts activated for us both, our frequency really expanded, and it just brought us to that next level.
Yeah, it was just, there's just the way, and this is what I say to people all the time, like everything is so divinely planned, isn't it? Like, and that's why you just have to trust the process, because like we've made these contracts before wherever we were, in whether it was the Pleiades or wherever we were before. Well, I know I was in the Pleiades before here, wherever we made these contracts to meet in this lifetime and to, activate each other, activate our gifts, go on this journey together in this lifetime. Everything is pre-planned. And I think when you just come with that trust, and it's hard to do. Like we are human at the end of the day. We're having this human experience. So, we have to give ourselves a little bit of credit as well, because sometimes it is hard to just fully trust and surrender. But I think when you do, that's when the magic really unfolds, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the whole journey has been for me, getting out of the head, what other people think or the logical mind, and dropping into the heart, because your heart will always guide you, and your heart will always tell you what is right. And like, I know the both of us feel things so intensely, like we'll know if something's for us, and you just have to follow that, and you just have to go with that, regardless of what the logical mind is saying. And when you trust that and go with that, that's when the path that is meant for you will start to unfold more and more.
Yeah.
And I really believe that's how we met each other, because I feel we didn't meet each other until I was fully expressing who I truly was. You know, when you're hiding your truth, the people, places, situations that are aligned with you and your soul can't come in. And when you start emanating who you truly are, that opens up that path for them to come in. So, yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And I remember then we had this trip planned and now we're going in July. But in between all this happening and working with the Arcturians, we got to meet Dr. Jean Ang, who we know we have a connection with from Lemuria. And I just met this guy by chance. I even can't remember how I came across him, but I remember he has his own healing modality, the Arcturian healing method. And I just randomly came across him. I wasn't following him or anything like that. And I just popped him a message and we got chatting. And then he agreed to come to Ireland to teach level 1 and level 2 of the Arcturian healing method, which he was here in February. Was it February?
Yeah.
And myself and yourself, through all of our conversations over the years, we have always said we know we're going to be in Lemuria in Hawaii together. We're really called to Hawaii, weren't we? And then Mount Shasta kind of came in after that quite recently, and we just felt that pull, didn't we? And we knew we would go there. We just didn't know how it would transpire. And then when we met Dr. Jean, who came to do the Arcturian training, he has a huge connection to Hawaii and Lemuria and stuff. And I remember doing the training and he mentioned he does the retreats in Mount Shasta. And I just looked at you and I was like,
we have to go.
We have to go there. And we spoke to him afterwards, and the dates actually didn't align because I was going to be in Spain at the time. And he kindly agreed to reach out to those who had booked on to see if they could put it forward by a couple of weeks. And thankfully, they agreed and it suited them. So we are off to Mount Shasta in August.
I cannot wait.
And I just feel it's going to be wild.
Yeah, incredible. And for people that don't know, like, Mount Shasta is so connected with the Lemurians and everything like that. So it's like the jigsaw is even coming together more and more. So yeah, it's just the way it unfolded. And I remember you were talking to Jean beforehand and telling him our experience with the Arcturians and how we're both receiving all these activations. And he was saying that we were working with the same Arcturians and we knew then they were leading us. And I kept on getting a message that this man would come in and teach us in some way. And then Jean appeared and now we're off to California and I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I just remember that. Can you remember we were at an event with Kathy from Enlightened Hearts here. She was doing a beautiful Mary Magdalene activation. And I remember at the end of it, because up at this point I had already made contact with Jean, but I didn't know he was a doctor at the time. I just had his name, Jean Ang. And I remember Kathy at the end, she was talking to everybody and she said, one of you is going to do a lot of work with a doctor. And I knew she was talking about me. I just intuitively knew, but then my logical mind stepped in and I was like, why would I work with a doctor? That just doesn't make sense to my logical mind. And I kind of put it out of my head. And I think like the following day you messaged me. I think I had forwarded you on an email from Jean, and I never realized he signs off his emails Dr. Jean. And you were like, oh my God, Ciara, he's a doctor. I was like, what? How did I miss that?
Yeah. Again, confirmation that we were meant to work with him. So I'm just so excited to see what unfolds in California. And I know now, like, both of us are getting energetically prepared for it over the last few months and the next few months now. So yeah, we've loads of exciting things between bringing the group to Glastonbury in July and then our trip to California in August. Is going to be really exciting.
Such a big one, Ciara. Like, we keep talking about it, saying, like, I can just envision us just lying out, looking up at the stars, and then like literally a Palladian standing in front of us. Like something is going to happen. For those who don't know much about Mount Shasta, like that, it has a very strong Lemurian connection, but there's also a lot of UFO sightings and like galactic activity there. So people come from all over the world. And I'm actually so excited to go because it's meant to be such a special place. Like, even when I think about it, like I get that like shiver. And I know the Palladians are very connected to there as well. And yeah, I just feel it's going to be such a big, like, I feel everything that we have kind of gone through together and all the upgrades and the activations and the preparation is partly got to do with this trip. Like, I feel it's going to be really big for the both of us.
Yeah, me too. And it's like every time it's like you can see the bigger jigsaw all coming together, and it's like the pieces of the puzzle all come together when we continue to follow and just allow it to unfold. And yeah, I can't wait to see what happens and go with it. It's going to be
I know,
incredible.
and it's going to be amazing. And I think a lot of healers now are kind of getting the call, aren't they, to go to these sacred sites. And I know Hawaii is on our list as well. Egypt is calling me. Like, I'm going to do an Egypt trip next year. I just cannot wait. I was never really prepared or like ready for Egypt before now. I don't feel like my husband has a huge link to Egypt, and he's had a lot of quite significant lifetimes there, and he's gone so many times, and we're together like 17 years, and he's always been trying to get me to go to Egypt with him, and I was like, no, it just didn't feel right. I just wasn't ready. And like in the last year or so now, I'm just really getting the call for Egypt. So I'm going to do that next year. And I think that's happened to a lot of people. Are you noticing that as well? Like, people are just being called to these sacred sites.
Yeah, and what I feel in my heart is that it's all, as we know it now, that it's all to raise the consciousness of the earth. We all have these sacred codes within us, and we are here for a reason. We have codes of Lemuria or Atlantis or wherever it is for you. They are within us and they need to be activated within the grid of the earth. And when these codes, this frequency from you is put in there, that is activating more love, more positive energy, this 5D grid of the earth to raise the collective consciousness. And I keep on hearing like we will be told and guided how to step into the new earth and how to step into the 5D. And I really believe that like this is a big part of it. Like all of the light workers getting the instructions to work with the grids and to visit. And you don't even have to be doing anything. Like when we went first, it just intuitively came to us and it came step by step. And it's just about your energy being there is actually helping as well. So powerful.
Yeah, like when you look to when we got to Stonehenge, and just from like being on the land, and then we started seeing all these like balls of light appear. So like that's it. Like I talk about this all the time. Like people are like, oh, I feel I'm meant to be a grid worker, but I don't know how to do it. And sometimes you just need to be there. Just your energy, just walking on the land, walking on these grid lines, is enough. You don't even necessarily have to do much. There is a process, of course, but like people are doing grid work without even knowing that they are, because they've have the call to go to these places. They don't know why. And them just being there, just their energy field being there, and the codes that they all carry. As you say, we all carry different codes from our different galactic lifetimes, and putting those codes into the grid lines of Mother Earth to help her as we're raising through or going through this ascension process. So yeah, I think a lot more people are going to be called now. So if you're listening to this and you feel the call, just listen to it. Like, we have to listen to our intuition. As you said, Ciara, if you had not have listened to your intuition and reached out to me that time, we may not have continued to work together. Well, I think that was probably unavoidable. We would have both got the nudge at some point. But you know what I mean? Like, we could have delayed that process. We could have delayed it had you not listened to your intuition. So it's so important to do that now. We're going to get these nudges. And you might know where they come from, or like, that was really random. I think the most random ones are the ones that like are the most important, because they're like, where did that come from? And it's just your higher self or your guides communicating that information to you. And it's really important, no matter how random it is. As I said, I just sat up that morning, oh my God, I have to go to Stonehenge with Ciara. And it was like, where did that come from? And look how it transpired. So it's really important, I think, for us to listen to those nudges, isn't it?
Yeah, and our logical mind can come in with so many different excuses and, try and keep us safe and keep us in the knowing. But it's really about listening to that heart and allowing it to guide you. And yeah, it's incredible. I can't wait to see what's next on their list for us.
Oh, I know. Well, I look,
Hawaii.
we spoke about this before. And we know a big part of our work together is grid work.
Yeah.
So I do know after Glastonbury now we'll be doing a lot more of this type of work together. The grid, bringing groups to different sites and stuff and doing grid work. I know that's a big part of our mission together. So that's pretty exciting. Maybe we'll have to do Hawaii next year. What do you think?
Yeah.
Or Mount Shasta. We go back to Mount Shasta.
Yeah,
There's so
definitely.
many places.
We'll see what unfolds. So exciting.
It is so exciting. So tell me, what's on the horizon for you now outside of the work that we're doing together? I know things are changing a lot for you and you're always constantly downloading new things. And so what's on the horizon for you, do you feel, over the next kind of few months?
Yeah, so a lot of new frequencies are coming through for me at the moment. I'm currently channeling a angelic healing modality that I will be bringing through and working with. So I'll be doing one-to-one sessions with that, and I'll be also doing angelic healing circles and events and courses in the future as well. So it's all
Amazing.
starting to come together, and yeah, I'm just so excited to bring these angelic frequencies to the world and to support people and train people in angelic healing as well. So that's the direction my heart is leading me in now, and I'm so excited to follow it and see it all unfold.
And I think that is such a good direction to go because that's who you are at the core. You have all that beautiful angelic energy. And I know bringing that to the world is going to be super amazing for people. So I'm excited to watch that unfold for you, Ciara. I know. And I remember having that session with you those few years back and just saying to you, oh my God, things are going to explode for you. And I just had that feeling that there was just big things for you. And it's all, we're just evolving all the time, aren't we? Like,
Yeah, and it will, I'm the most, as you know, I'm the most impatient person ever. And, we know what's there for us, and it's just about allowing it to come in the
yeah.
3D and going with it, because there's certain things that we have to go through and certain initiations and all of this until it's ready. So yeah, it's my time now and it's coming through. So I'm so excited to bring these frequencies to the world.
Yeah, amazing. I'm excited to watch that unfold. So have you anything coming up for people, Ciara, if they wanted to work with you, or how can they, get in touch with you? And
Yeah, so I have a free event on the 16th of June. It's
amazing.
an angelic healing circle, and we'll be doing ancestral healing as well. So that's on the 16th of June on Zoom at 7:30, and that's completely free. And you can visit my page, Ciara's Calling, on Instagram or ciarascalling.com, and you'll find the link for it there.
Amazing. That'd be gorgeous, Ciara. And I'll leave all the links in the show notes as well so people can go in and book on that. And that's really beautiful to offer these events like that as well, isn't it? Just to, yeah, I do often get the call to do that as well, just to host like a free event for people and I think bringing groups of people together is so powerful. Like I love working online.
Yeah.
I think I can just, I love, I've been doing in-person sessions for over a decade, but the online stuff, I just feel you can, for me anyway, I can just really connect in. It's at such a deeper level when we're working online. Do you feel that too, or?
Yeah, and I also feel when people are at home as well, they're relaxed in their own space and can be really in that relaxed state as well. And then you have the recording as well, so you can go back over it, and every time you do it, you might receive something different as well. So it's really powerful. So yeah, I'm definitely love doing online and definitely guided in that direction. I think a part of it as well is, me, I live out in the middle of nowhere, so I like to be in the middle of the mountains here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And it's what you say there just about the recordings. Like I know through my membership community, there is live sessions as well, but there's a lot of recordings there, and the messages you get off people who are so surprised that they get so much out of listening to the recording. They're like, how does that work? And it's so
Yeah.
powerful, isn't it? And each time you get something different.
Yeah. And I think, people, and I was like this as well. I didn't understand how it worked online, and thought that you would have to go to someone in person for a session. But the power of the online is actually showing you that power that is within you, and that you are your own healer, and that we are just holding that space for you to connect in with your soul, and to create that space for these frequencies to come true and lead it and guide it. But you are your own healer, and you are doing all of that within you. And I think it really empowers people to see that this is me and this is within me and it's not outside of me. So that's why I love it as
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just working with the quantum field is just next level anyway, isn't it? It's just amazing. And I'm just so excited. I just feel as well, so many new frequencies are coming through people now. They're bringing their own type of healing modalities through. Kind of people are kind of stepping back from like the traditional healing modalities and bringing through their own types of healing. And we're seeing it all over the place. And it's just so exciting. Like if you think of all the different modalities that people are bringing to the earth at the minute, and it's just, oh my God, it just blows my mind. And are you noticing that as well with other like healers and stuff? They're bringing through their own modalities.
Yeah, and like this is what I always say, like we have our own unique, I know the two of us always talk about this, like we have our own unique soul blueprint, and everyone's soul blueprint is so unique to them. And the mission and the way that you came here to work is so unique to you, and you have a way of bringing that to the world. And it's just so incredible that people are knowing that, all of these tools and these techniques and everything are incredible, but the way you will bring your light to the world is through your uniqueness and
Yeah.
through your codes and your intuition. And you can use all of the modalities to support you, but your light is unique. And it's so
Yeah.
incredible that people are connecting with that. And I know both of us in our work is helping people connect with their intuition and helping them to open
Absolutely.
up their own unique gifts and to trust that and go with that. And
Yeah.
I really love the way that we're stepping away from the book and we're going from the heart and
Yeah.
trust in that. And it's just really, really amazing to see. And that means then people are aligning with the light that they came here to shine. And
Yeah.
that can only do more and more good and have a positive impact. And another thing coming through now as well is that, I think in the 3D, we're all so fixated on, oh, I'm doing this, or if someone's doing the same as me, they might,
Yeah.
like, we're in competition. But it's not like that, because you are uniquely you, and you have people that you have soul contracts with, and you have
Yeah.
people that you will help and support and that you are meant to guide. But you can only help them when you step into that true light of who you truly, truly are.
Yeah.
And I think it's lovely because it gets us out of trying to compete with people and knowing that we all have this unique light and that it's meant to be shined. And it's just the way we came here to live. And it's just so, it makes me so happy to know that we're going in that direction. And I know, look, our human
Yeah.
self and our ego and our mind comes in, but it's about just coming back to that uniqueness and that light within you.
Absolutely. And it's so important that you say that. Really, there's no room for it. There should be no competition, because so many light workers are needed right now. The more we need, more and more and more. Like there is no competition. Everybody is so unique. Everyone has their own unique way of healing. They have their own unique gifts. No two healers are the same. And you're right, people are going to resonate with people for different reasons. They have a soul contract to work with that person. So, you have to just understand that there is no competition. We're all in this together. We all came here with the same mission, and that's to help serve humanity in whatever way that is for you. And we should all support each other, and back each other and help each other. And because we all came here to do the same thing, really, at the end of the day. So, yeah, that's really important message, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can work with different people at different stages to help you at that stage on that journey. And like, I know that the two of us have such a role to play in each other's journey. Like, you have
Yeah.
activated and opened up so much for me, and I know that I've supported you as
Done the
well. And
same.
it's just,
Yeah.
the way that we can help each other. But when you open your heart to that, that's when it can come true as well. So yeah, it's really about getting out of that fear, that scarcity, that lack, that worry, that competition, and just
Yeah.
knowing that you came here for a reason and you will be guided. And but you have to connect with yourself, and that starts with trusting yourself as well.
Absolutely. And even if you look at the two of us, Ciara, our work is very, very similar. And the people, like, because our energy is so similar, the same type of people are attracted to our energy as well. But there's never anything but support between the two of us. We're always there to support each other, always there to hype each other up. We leave the voice notes, Ciara, you're not going to believe this. And it's like we go into these crazy stories. And that's really important, I think, to have that support system. Do you know, to have somebody there that you can kind of go to for the advice and just to support other people in this, I hate calling it an industry, but we're all here, as I said, we're all here for the same reason, and we really just should support each other as much as we can, I feel.
Yeah, and so many people have came to me or came to you and said, I'm drawn to both of you.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
don't know why. And it's because we're so similar energies. But then as well, we have our own unique way of supporting people and that unique
yeah,
light. And it's just amazing that we can help each other as well. And it is just getting into the heart more and more and having
yeah,
that compassion.
yeah,
And when it comes back to that alignment for what is meant for you and what is aligned for you will only rise you. But it's hard
absolutely.
to get, when we're so programmed in that fear and that worry and that competitiveness. Like, I remember working in the corporate world, and people would knock you down to get themselves higher, and I remember when we started first, like, I was very afraid to allow anyone else into my life. I was kind of a lone ranger. But when you're aligned with your heart and your soul, you'll bring in those people that want to rise you. But that
Yeah,
requires walking away from those that don't. And that's very,
yeah,
very hard to do. I had to walk away from a lot of situations. And, stepping into your soul, it sounds amazing, and it is, but it requires that strength within you to say no to what isn't aligned, and that's not easy, and
yeah,
you can feel alone for a long time, but it is really, really worth it then when you actually find those soul aligned friendships and relationships that really lift you up and only rise you more and
yeah.
more.
Absolutely, and that's it. And it's a lovely place to end the conversation, because I could literally talk to you all day. You and I just send each other voice notes like all day
Oh, you'll
long.
get you'll get a
But
20-minute voice note off me now, don't worry.
but it is just, I absolutely adore you, Ciara, and yeah, it's just, you literally are my soul sister, and I just hope everyone on this path has at least one person that they can have that connection with, because it just makes all the difference, isn't it? And so I just want to thank you for your
Oh,
friendship and your support and your guidance and everything you've done for me since I've met you over the last few years. So thank you so much.
oh, and thank you. And that's it. Like, we lift each other, we rise each other up, and we're here to support each other. And it's just so, so lovely. I'm going to start crying now. But it's lovely to have that. And yeah, thank you as well. It's just so, so grateful. And here's to whatever unfolds for us in the
Yeah,
future.
watch this space now. There'll be a lot more to come from the both of us working together, which is super exciting. So, thank you so much, Ciara. And I will leave the your links and stuff in the show notes, so people go check her out, give her a follow on Instagram. She does some amazing, amazing work, and that free event. Yeah, sign up for that. And yeah, thank you so much, Ciara.
Thanks so much for having me. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope this episode supported you, activated something within you, and reminded you of the magic of who you truly are. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who may need this message too. It truly helps support the podcast and this community. And if you'd like to journey deeper with me, you can join us inside the Soulstar Sanctuary membership or explore my mentorship program, the Soul Ascension portal, through the links below. Until next time, keep trusting your path, your intuition, and the wisdom of your soul.